I've been that guy. While you was at home doing this, I was in the club making moves. Slow whining with your future wife.
Would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah.
Is he? Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua, he looks like a superhero.
Anthony Joshua responded to Jake Paul's call-out on Instagram Live, saying he would fight him, but made it clear he's focused on his own career. He explained that he doesn't do trash talk or go back and forth with words, saying, "I'm not a talker like that." While he acknowledged Paul's challenge, Joshua stayed professional, showing he's not interested in drama but is open to settling things in the ring.
Good luck to him, man. Do your thing. I'm gonna do mine. He's gonna do his. What more can I say? I don't really need to talk. I just do what I do. I don't really need to. I'm not a talker like that. I'm not a talker. I handle my business. That's all I need to know. You tell me in America what type of vim do I need to bring? I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this and that and that and this. Trust me, I'm from the UK. We stand on our business. I'm standing on my business. I'm gonna handle mine. This, I've never seen someone win a fight via mental games. Like the way you win a fight is by punching someone more times or punching someone harder than the other person. So it's here nor there, innit?
Eddie Hearn said that Anthony Joshua is ready to fight anyone at any time. According to Hearn, Joshua told him he's prepared for any challenge. This shows that Joshua isn't backing down from any fight, no matter who the opponent is.
Sorry. This is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, like, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'll do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? Like, AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But, you know, the only thing that was disappointing was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, you know, LA Olympics for the surfing, 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage, but I don't know, those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning, he went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, you know, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah, but he might do it, he might just do it.
Hearn warned that fighting Joshua is a big risk, even joking that opponents might need insurance first. He pointed out that Joshua's power and skill make him a tough opponent, and anyone facing him must be fully ready for a hard fight.
Hearn responding to Jake Paul's call out of Anthony Joshua by stating this. He states, Joshua would fight anyone anytime, but warn Paul about the risk. If Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. And let me counterpunch. Eddie Hearn responding to this just confirms that this fight could actually happen. Because, you know, Eddie pretty much, you know, calls the shots. He makes the play. You know, Anthony Joshua's interested. Now, Eddie Hearn is stating that he's interested. So that means, you know, hey, why not wait? Why wait to 26? Why not this year in 25? And that means that he is very comfortable with putting Anthony Joshua in there with Jake Paul. And if I was Eddie Hearn, people, counterpunching this statement, I would too. Because this is, to me, again, like I've told you guys before, when Jake Paul called out Anthony Joshua, I think he overstepped himself.
Eddie Hearn is open to the idea of a fight, but noted that Jake Paul often causes problems with money. However, despite their past issues, Hearn seems willing to move past them because Paul is offering a big payout, which plays a big role in his interest.
I just seen Eddie on camera say, look, man, business is business. Business is booming. Nigga, if I'm in third place and I'm getting paid all this, nigga, fuck it. You see, third place it is. Y'all tripping off this shit, not me. I'm good. And Matchroom is motherfucking eating. And Matchroom eating. I'm doing good and Matchroom is eating. So, shit. But it seemed like he was butthurt when he said it because his voice was still cracking like he was gonna cry when he said it. You know what I'm saying? So, why wouldn't Jake Paul reach out to Eddie? Hey, man, look, man, we could draw up a deal, man. We could draw up a deal, and I'll give you $50 million too. You said I can give you $50 million for AJ.
But hold on, so you made me just think about something. Salute to my boy Brent Fox coming through. If Eddie Hearn does this with Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, would that be like the ultimate betrayal from Eddie? Or is it all like fair game?
Jake Paul called Eddie Hearn two-faced, saying he acts friendly in public but is different behind the scenes. Paul has had a complicated relationship with boxing promoters, and his comments add more drama to the talks about a possible fight.
And of course, Eddie Hearn is already preparing his excuse.
Dude, he's preparing it.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's a weasel. He's a snake. Snake guy right there.
What do you mean he's a weasel?
Man, I don't even know where to begin with him, but he's very two-faced. You know, I think off camera, he's like on your side, like, man, you do well, I love what you're doing actually, and like I really respect it, and blah blah blah, and you're gonna take this a long way. And then the cameras come on and he's like, you're not that good, da da da, saying all
so he's
this
selling
stuff.
he's
But
selling.
it's like a backhanded compliment,
Yeah,
or a backhanded diss. Like the way he words it and shit, he's like, oh, you're average. Well, average isn't that bad. Well, Eddie, what if I called your wife average? You know what I'm saying? Like
Anthony Joshua has already faced some of the best fighters, including Alexander Usyk, who defeated him twice with his technical skills. These fights tested Joshua's toughness and proved that he is always ready to take on top opponents.
The belts were finally out of my possession, which I was expecting to win. It just kind of tore me apart, and that's raw emotion live on your screen. Obviously, looking back, could I have dealt with things better? Yeah, of course. But at the time, that wasn't the priority. It was just outpour of emotion.
There are so many athletes we're seeing across gymnastics, cricket, rugby and football that have taken time out of their sport to deal with their mental health before coming back in. Did you at any point in that period think, I need to take an extended break away from boxing before coming back in?
It wasn't the fact I needed to take a break. You know what it was? I actually watched a lot of like fighters, they've taken time out of the game for those reasons as well. And I think, okay, if they've done it, I should be doing it. But I got to look at myself as an individual. And what it is, I feel like if I take time out, I'm letting everyone catch up. And I want to be ahead of the game.
Joe Rogan has praised Anthony Joshua's strong physique, calling it superhero-like. He admires Joshua's strength, discipline, and training, believing his physical abilities play a big role in his success.
Like boxers today, if you look at like Anthony Joshua, who's the heavyweight champion of the world now.
Is he?
You look at him, yeah. He's a English fellow. He's a tank. I mean,
Is he?
Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua, he looks like a superhero.
Do those guys have as much stamina as these guys do though?
Oh yeah, they do
today.
They did? Yeah, because the conditioning methods that they have today are just so superior. They understand rest and recovery, and they monitor your heart rate, and you know they're monitoring lactic acid buildup. And
on his podcast, Joe Rogan joked about Jake Paul's plan to fight Joshua in 2026, saying the long wait might be so Paul can take steroids before facing a former heavyweight champion. His comment shows doubt about whether Paul is serious about the fight.
That Dubois guy, though, holy man, the way he took out Anthony Joshua.
I know.
Yeah, Jake wants to fight Anthony Joshua now.
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
Said he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about now?
Yeah.
They're like, what about fight him now? He's like, no, I want to wait till 2026. I'm like, okay.
To put on weight?
Put all the steroids, every steroid
Whatever.
they have.
I would watch.
Snake
Here's
venom,
the thing. I would
scorpion
watch
venom.
it.
Oh, by the way,
Scorpion venom.
Rollo reached out to me, John Rollo, my boy, and he sells this blue scorpion shit. He wants to get you some, Gordon.
I'll have some.
All right, I'll have him send you some.
Get on the
I'll take
scorpion.
quadruple doses, like
yeah,
we'll see what happens. I'm gonna start slow. I'm gonna find out if I get poisoned.
Yeah, just.
What the f*** are we doing? We're drinking venom from scorpions?
That is weird.
That's weird. He's got the dopest tattoos.
Shannon Sharp said Jake Paul is too small for Anthony Joshua, calling it an unfair fight. Many in the boxing world agree, doubting whether Paul can handle such a strong and experienced opponent.
Elites. We talk about the elites at their craft. it's not gonna happen. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jake fought the closest,
Tyson Fury, brother.
Tommy Paul, the closest person to actually
Tommy Fury.
Tommy. If you want to challenge someone with the one loss you have. Take him out.
Jake Paul's habit of calling out legendary fighters has annoyed many boxing fans. Critics say he isn't a serious boxer and is more focused on gaining attention than proving himself in the sport. Jake Paul's recent challenge to Anthony Joshua has raised doubts, with many wondering if he really plans to go through with it. Paul isn't just focused on Joshua, he's also shown interest in fighting MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul says his boxing skills are improving while McGregor's are getting worse with age. This is another example of Paul targeting big names to get more attention in the world of combat sports.
McGregor's done.
I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older and I'm only getting better.
Jake Paul has also expressed interest in fighting Gervonta Tank Davis, but there's a big weight difference between them. Davis is a lightweight while Paul fights in a much heavier class. If Paul wants to fight Davis, he would have to lose a lot of weight, which could make it harder for him to move back up in weight to face Joshua later.
So Tank Davis versus Jake Paul exhibition match was going to take place after the Lamont Roach fight until Tank drew with Roach, leading to a rematch. Now, I'm going to say the unpopular opinion here, but the size difference would have been way too much. I mean, even if Tank brought Jake down to 190 or 200 pounds, he would have still been way too big. I mean, no matter how good a lightweight is, they would have almost no chance against a cruiserweight or heavyweight ranked top 200 in his division. And I'm sure people are going to bring up Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, but Logan is just not a good boxer relative to Jake. You know, Jake's been training for a couple years, he's had over 10 pro fights, and Mayweather was also junior middleweight in this fight, not a lightweight like Tank. But that being said, I'm glad Tank and Jake isn't happening. You know, it would have been a fun spectacle, but I'm not the biggest fan of the exhibition stuff. And instead now Tank and Roach will be rematching in June. You know, the first fight did a little over 260,000 pay-per-view buys, which isn't bad in this market. Roach absolutely deserves a second fight, so I do think the rematch will do far more numbers. And as for Jake, I want to see him fight big-name boxers around his weight class. You know, the Tommy Fury rematch, for example, he's undefeated. The first fight did a little over 800,000 pay-per-view buys. He's around the same age range. So that's the fight I want to see, not the exhibitions. But let me know what you guys think.
One of the biggest criticisms of Jake Paul's challenge to Anthony Joshua is that Paul already lost to Tommy Fury, a relatively inexperienced boxer. Fury's win over Paul has made people question whether Paul is really ready to face a world-class fighter like Joshua, adding doubt about his true boxing skills.
You have got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass. You know what? I want this to happen just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP in Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out? I'm saying 5 seconds.
There have been rumors that Anthony Joshua is thinking about retiring, especially because of injuries. However, Joshua has said he's committed to continuing his boxing career. He mentioned that he's seen his idols reach the top of the sport and wants to keep pushing forward. Shannon Briggs also shared his thoughts, saying Joshua should never stop fighting. Briggs believes Joshua still has more to achieve and that quitting too soon would be a mistake, showing that many think Joshua still has a lot to give to the sport.
Most recently, we've seen Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua not so long ago. I want to ask you about the heavyweight picture at the moment. Daniel Dubois, the rise of him. We're not sure what Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder's going to do next. It's in a good place because there's undisputed fights happening. There's another rematch around the corner. What was your first of all take on the Dubois versus Joshua fight and Daniel Dubois' coming out party, if you like?
I thought like a lot of people, I was shocked. I thought Anthony would win coming off the big knockout against Francis, but Dubois has always showed me. And again, I got to tell you, I was wrong in my judgment of not knowing. I seen him early in his career, and I thought it was, pretty much basic. But what he showed me more than anything is the fact that he has a determination and a will like no other man. I remember after taking my first loss, I went into deep depression. Here, this man bounced back from the Joe Joyce loss. He bounced back from the Usyk situation. He's always bounced back, and he went into the Joshua fight, confident and strong, and did his thing,
Yeah, for sure. What do you think Anthony Joshua should do next? People are saying 50% are saying retire, 50% are saying carry on. What do you think?
For Joshua, continue on forever. Why ever stops? Don't stop it. Look at Mike Tyson, 58 years old, fighting Jake Paul next week. 58 years old. Why would Joshua stop? Why would if Fury was to lose? Never stop fighting. These guys should never stop fighting. That was the biggest mistake. Listen, in this day and age, as long as you're not getting hurt, if you're not having brain damage, why stop? If you win some, you lose some. You know what I'm saying? Keep fighting, because when you can't stop, when you stop fighting, you really stop fighting.
Jake Paul has often been criticized for picking opponents who are either retired or less experienced, which many believe helps him build his record without taking real risks. His fight with Mike Tyson, for example, was widely criticized because Tyson was 52 years old at the time, leading some to think Paul only wants to fight aging opponents. Joe Rogan talked about the fight, saying he was relieved Tyson didn't get seriously hurt and noting that Tyson still made a big payday from it. While some fans enjoyed the fight, others felt it was more of a spectacle than a real competition.
Jake Paul has just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony, saying, Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass. This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lamont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight. AJ's too classy for that. Way too classy. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you follow for the most up-to-date and sharpest box news and content on TikTok.
MMA fighter Rampage Jackson has also criticized Jake Paul's approach to boxing, saying he would only fight Paul if he were too old. Jackson pointed out that Paul often chooses to fight aging or less dangerous opponents. This criticism matches what many fans and experts have been saying about Paul's choices in his career.
Jake Paul. No, but I'm never going to call out Jake Paul again, because I saw Butterbean call him out and that looked pathetic. So I'm never going to call out Jake Paul. But I've called out Jake Paul and stuff like that. Everybody calling out Jake Paul. And Jake Paul. I'm not calling out Jake Paul. He won't fight me for another 10 years until I'm too old to get in there. I'm not. Everybody know that's a money fight and stuff like that. But I don't give a fuck.
Just overall, your thoughts on his opponent selection these last few fights?
He's smart. He's smart.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.